老板，厉害厉害。做老板。那现在呢？很多人就是一份工作，然后是业余的。其实我起步也是说有full time job，然后做开发。当时我也不敢说
Okay, I think everyone have a food. Yes. Okay. I think it's 7:34. We can start the program, and I think before I say anything, I would like to have everyone kind of we can do a quick introduce. Just say your name, your title, whatever. Just like one sentence, introduce yourself. So like it's good opportunity to let everyone knows everyone. How's that?
Okay.
Okay, I'll start from this table.
Hi, good evening. I'm Douglas Xia, Director of Tri-Valley Chapter.
Hi, good evening. I'm Marsha Polanco, and I'm also a board member of Tri-Valley Chapter.
I'm Qin Shao, and from Dublin. I will be the reporter for tonight.
Hi, my name is Anthony Ng, Executive Director of Pacific Vision Foundation. Thank you.
This is our sponsor for this event. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hi, my name is Peggy Chu. I'm president of East Bay Chapter. Thank you.
Papa.
Well, good evening. This is Henry Yin. I'm the chairperson of East Bay Chapter. And we have a 5-member here coming tonight to learn from Tri-Valley. Of course, by my last name, you can tell that I'm related to the founder of Papa, C.C. Yin. I'm his poor brother. And I do not own McDonald's, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Yan Edwards. I'm the communications officer from East Bay Chapter of Papa. Nice to meet you here.
Hello, Stanley Cole, East Bay Chapter. Thank you.
Xiaoling Mao from East Bay Chapter.
Hello everyone, my name is Lily Zhu. I'm the current board member of the Apapa Tri-Valley Chapter and the current president of our Apapa Toastmaster Club in Dublin.
Hello everyone, nice to meet you. My name is Doris and from Dublin.
Hi, I'm Adora, and I'm sorry to say that I don't have any credibilities like all these people here, so I'm going to pass it on.
Me too.
My name is Jennifer Xuan, and also I don't have any title to share right now. I'm just a member of this group. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Alice Wang. I'm from Livermore. I'm a Papa member.
Hi, my name is Sarah Mai. I'm not a Papa member, I'm just a Papa's Toastmasters TVC. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Harry Sachs. I'm on the San Ramon City Council. Good to see everybody here tonight.
Hi, I'm Sean Kumagai. I've never come to an APAPA event, but I heard about it and I wanted to come check it out. 我也讲国语，所以我来练习中文。
I can't follow that. He's my new friend, though. I'm Jamie Yee, and I am from Pleasanton. I'm a Pleasanton School Board member and also a member of APAPA.
Good evening everyone, my name is Tiffany Yang. I'm currently the board member of the Apapa Tri-Valley.
Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Al Hua, so I'm the first time to participate in this event as a Papa event. So I live in Dublin, so most of my time, maybe half of my time, I'm traveling around the world. So I'm doing the software engineering, so right now I work for a Chinese company. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Betty. I'm so appreciated to be here attending this meeting, and then I live in Dublin too.
Hi, I'm Nolan Chen. I grew up and lived most of my life in the South Bay, but
My family and I, we just moved here to San Ramon a couple months ago. I have small kids, so I'm especially excited to be here tonight.
My name is Yu Zhang, and I live in Danville. So I just come here, learn from everyone.
Hi everyone, my name is Huiling Song, last name S-O-N-G, sing a song if you couldn't recognize my first name. So I live in Pleasanton. I think recently, a couple months ago, I finally become a Apapa Tri-Valley member thanks to Nancy here. I think this is a great community, great organization. Thank you so much.
Victor Zhang from Dublin, and an entrepreneur. This is my first time attending any Apapa meeting. Nice meeting you.
Grace Jian, I live in Dublin. Thanks for Apapa giving the opportunity to let us know more about the school district.
Hi, I'm Hannah Chen, and it's my first time attend the Apapa event. Thanks to Andy's introduction. I'm a CFA and I work for wealth management in Walnut Creek. I live very close by.
Thank you. My name is Sridhar Veros. I'm San Ramon resident and member of San Ramon City Parks and Community Services Commission and graduate of Leadership San Ramon Valley. Thank you and happy Chinese New Year.
One more day. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sucharita. I'm just came to meet you all here, and thanks to Andy Lee. Hi, everyone.
Hi, I'm Rachel Hurd. I'm a resident of San Ramon, and I'm also on the Board of Education for San Ramon Valley Unified School District. I'm one of your speakers. I'm delighted to be here tonight. Thank you for so many people coming. It's going to be a great conversation.
Hi, I'm Amy Miller, and I am a school board trustee in Dublin, and I was very honored to be asked to be part of this panel tonight. So great to see so many people here, and I can't wait to share our stories with you. Thanks.
My name is Ben Ren. I was a Apapa intern, and now I'm a Apapa volunteer.
Hi, my name is Richard. I'm just here as a volunteer.
Hi, I'm Shengao Li. I live in Dublin, so I do not represent anybody. But hopefully nobody will represent me. Just try to be involved in civil events, and hopefully, actually, in the future, maybe a sponsor for Apapa.
Hi, my name is Jun Do, and I'm a member of Apapa. Nice to meet you, everyone here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nancy Chen, Apapa Tri-Valley Chapter Vice President and Treasurer. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jing Zhu, and I don't carry any title. I'm just a member of Apapa Tri-Valley. I'm a realtor from Keller Williams. All my clients I met are all very impressed with San Ramon Valley Great Schools. So I got to tell them what I have learned tonight. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Annie. I live in Danville. I have a Apapa member.
Hi, I'm Andy Gu. I'm the Tri-Valley member.
Hi, my name is Eric Guo, and I'm a student at Monte Vista High School.
My name is Star Chang, a student at Monte Vista.
I'm Henry Guo. I'm a friend of Andy.
Thank you, everyone. And my name is Andy Lee, and I think most of you know I'm the president of the Apapa Tri-Valley chapter. And this event is hosted by Apapa and Pacific Vision Foundation. And the purpose of this event is to more train the new future leaders in the Tri-Valley. Hopefully, through this event and this program, you can learn how to get involved, learn the system, and meet some good friends. And this will be the year-long program, and we'll meet pretty much every second Friday for every month. And before I talk about other things, I want to check how many of you don't know Apapa at this moment. Okay, still a few people. So do not.
We do.
So everyone knows Apapa? Okay, that's good. So I don't need to introduce Apapa. And but I just want to say one sentence: Apapa is more the Asian Pacific Islander American Public Affairs Association. Is more for the API, but we are not exclusive, very inclusive, including everyone. We try to empower, engage Asian Pacific Islander, and our concept is, if we have all people active, participate, we will have a much, much better community. And there's a few things I would like to let you know. On the February 26th, we'll have a big gala at Danville Black Hawk Museum. And it's auto museum, very nice. And we also have the museum owner, David Baring. They will have the Chinese art museum open at that time. It's not official open, but they open for us. I think his father, Ken Baring, bought like 60-foot wood sculpture from China, shipped it to here, and have a display. There's many other masterpieces, so it's better. You can come and see that. And another thing is this one. This civic leadership program is more for the adult or kind of high school, more high, like the last few years of the high school students. We also have intern for like a college student and a high school student. If you have kids or you have a friend who is interested, let us know. The intern program is led by Masha Glanko. She's our intern chair, and thank you, Masha. And we'll provide training, and also we'll send to the elected official to do the intern. At the end, we'll do the another like a ceremony to celebrate that. So the next, I would like to have Anthony coming here to speak a few words. And Pacific Vision Foundation is very kind to support this event. Not only this event, all the events this year. Their goal is to promote more leader, grow more leader in this community. So Anthony, come here.
Thank you. On behalf of Pacific Vision Foundation, I want to welcome and also want to thank you because all you need to remember is what the panel going to say. We just a partner and also the biggest cheerleader for Papa Tri-Valley chapter, because they are the leadership who organize all this and educate us. And our aim is what you see, training leaders. Pacific Vision Foundation, PVF, diverse in leadership, inclusive in participation. That's all I said. And I want to thank you, every one of you, spending a precious evening to come here, because we want to see more people with the heart in the right place to join the school board and advocate on behalf of our kids for a better future. Thank you. And one last word I steal from Andy. That's why you're all on the table, because I still remember he said, if you're not on the table, you'll be on the menu. So stay on the table and have a voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. And usually for our tradition, for every event, we have the host cities, the mayor or city council to speak a few words. Welcome everyone. Today we are very honored to have a ceremony. City Council Harry Sachs here. So Harry, please come to speak a few words. Harry will be our speaker when we talk about the city issues and city infrastructure.
Thanks. Well, thanks, Andy. And this guy right here in our community, he is doing a lot of things to empower people, just to make San Ramon all that it can be. And I can tell you, as a council member, our group, we have been so impressed with the new group of leaders that we see coming to us in participating in citizen committees, on Parks Commission, Planning Commission. We're really excited about the future because we want the face of San Ramon to be inclusive of all of our residents and making sure that we're providing the quality of life standards and community values that you hold dear as much as we do. So it's great to see this as a year-long event. It's very empowering. Tonight I'm talking about schools, right? Oh my gosh. I'm a school teacher, so I'm going to sit in the back and listen to this great thing. But I've been in education on the delivering education to students for 20 years. And I do that in Fremont. I did have a chance to student teach actually in San Ramon Valley, and I really enjoyed it, and it was great. It is the bedrock of our community, is our schools, because the education of our children is the lifeline to democracy and to democratic government. I firmly believe that. I'm a U.S. history teacher, so call me biased. But when our residents, when our citizenry is educated and engaged, you have a better community. It is that simple, and it starts young. And my children, I have 3 children in San Ramon schools, 1 in high school, a freshman at Cal High, go Grizzly. And then 2, I live in South San Ramon. They both go to Country Club Elementary. And I can tell you, I've been a resident since 1999. When I get around some of the older folks in San Ramon, I feel like a newcomer. But I can tell you, being here that long, it's an honor to be able to represent this community and be able to reap the benefits that people before us have created in such a lovely place. Up and down the valley we say that. But being able to raise my family in this community, it's a blessing to me. And I count my lucky stars every night that we're able to do it. So I hope that tonight you do get some great insights as to what makes school districts successful, because you know what? They're not all the same. And we're very fortunate to have a great track record of providing educational services that the community believes in and counts on and actively participates in. So with that, again, thank you all for being here tonight. It's great to see so many faces. Look forward to seeing you guys and the events coming forward, and enjoy what you're going to hear tonight. Andy, thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to check with you. Can people in the back hear very clearly? Good, thank you. And before we start the panel discussion, I want to check a few facts. For the people who are not born, raised here, you probably come here after college, please raise your hand. Right. So you see, majority of the people are not born, raised here. Because of that, we did not attend school here. We don't know the school system very well here. This is one of the reasons we do this training, provided some basic information about the school, the city, and other levels. And today, we are very honored to have 3 school board, and Rachel from San Ramon, Amy from Dublin, and Jamie from Pleasanton. And I think I'll start with Rachel. And Rachel is our school, San Ramon Valley Unified School board member since 2006. It's been over 10 years. And also, Rachel is executive director of the Leadership San Ramon Valley and the board member there. And this is a great program. I think when I ask Rachel to speak, maybe you can spend a couple minutes to just talk about that. It's a great program. I mean, although this is the leadership, it's more like basic information. That one you have in-depth learning of the San Ramon Valley, but it's more for the San Ramon Valley, San Ramon Danville, Alamo people. And also, I think Rachel is the Dorothy Valley San Ramon Rotary Club, where you're the charter member, right? Yeah, I'm the member there. So without further ado, let's welcome Rachel to first talk about leadership ceremony, and then, and today's topic we are more talk about the school infrastructure, because like I asked, most people don't know the school system well. We are not grown up here. So let the school board discuss about the school infrastructure. Also, they'll talk about the appointment positions available in the school district. And actually, just like city, in the school district, there are several appointment positions. And because they are not well known, most people just don't apply. So it's, if you like to serve the community, that's a great opportunity to start with. This is why we cannot pick that, let the school board to talk about that. So, okay, let's welcome Rachel. Thank you.
So I noticed as you did your introductions, a lot of you are from Dublin and Pleasanton, so I hope you're not bored about the San Ramon Valley part. We do in San Ramon tend to focus on the San Ramon Valley, which is San Ramon, Danville, Alamo, but we're also part of the Tri-Valley, so it's kind of like this intersection of these two regions. So Leadership San Ramon Valley is a year-long program, actually runs September to the end of May, where the class of about 30 students meets once a month, and they're exposed to all different aspects of the community. They also do a lot of team building and really gel together as a group. They represent people from different businesses. Usually there's some participants from the town of Danville, the city of San Ramon, the fire district. So you have this mixture of business people, non-public sector, and public sector, and then we also have grown over time having some volunteer community represented. Most of them are parents, but not all. The requirement is that you either live or work in the San Ramon Valley. And so they're exposed to local government, the services available for a healthy community, communication, the education system, local economics, regional planning, and cultural arts. And it's kind of like all the different pieces that make up a thriving community. And so each day has a different theme. And the class does a class project that benefits the community in some way or another. That's up to them. And so it's this really neat way of getting exposed to the community, connecting with other people, and then the classes tend to get together casually afterwards. So it's been in existence 25 years. This is the 25th year. We're going to be having a big celebration soon. Has to be planned yet still, but so that's that. And I've been the executive director just since July, so I'm pretty new in that job. But I was on the board before that, and I was in the class in 2006. Okay, now do you want me to go to the school board part, or do you want all three of us up here?
Maybe you can start for 10 minutes.
Okay, so we'll just go one at a time? Yeah. Okay. And I hope by the time we get to the third one, we haven't all just repeated ourselves. So my involvement in the schools started just as a parent. And my oldest child, I knew early on, was struggling in school. He has something that's called dyslexia. And I would have been involved in the schools regardless, but that exposure of having a child that struggled got me that much more interested that much earlier. And I knew just because of the type of person I am that you're going to get a lot more progress if you work with the school rather than if you fight the school. So right from the start, I was a joiner. I joined the PTA, I became a room parent. You know, I gave and did to the school, not just financially, but I volunteered a lot. And I became the PTA president, I was on the site council, and I helped form our first ed fund at Country Club, which is where Harry's children go now. Or did, I guess. So I would say the most basic way to get involved in schools is just as an active and engaged parent. You know, that's looking at your kids' homework, talking to them about what they learned in school, going to the parent conferences. But then as you engage more, you get that much more out of it. You have a better understanding of what they're learning at school, you develop a rapport with the teacher, you start to get to know the principal, and you connect with lots of other families. Then from there, in our school district, because every single school in our district is a PTA school and now also is an affiliate of our Education Foundation. And we could spend a whole night talking about how schools in California struggle financially. Fortunately, in this area where we have a lot of, you know, well-off people who value education, we do a lot of side fundraising to support our schools, to enable our schools to have the full whole child kind of program that we value. And so parents, if they're into fundraising, can get involved in that. You know, we're fortunate, we have a lot of families where parents are into marketing, they're into sales, they're good at that stuff. Other families are more about, you know, I want to be part of connecting the community. So we kind of in our area view PTA as the community part and the ed funds as the fundraising part, and there's a place for everybody, and you can be on both boards if you want. Just kind of the more the merrier. But we really, really value parent engagement, not just as free labor, but that's often a way that people engage. We have above the school level, we have what's called a PTA council, which is essentially PTA at our school district level. And they do a ton of programming in all aspects of parenting. And we do an annual conference, we do an annual advocacy day where we learn more about education policy or education funding. Our legislators come. So we have a lot of engagement at the local level and then with what that looks like at the state. Then at the school district level, there's also committees to be involved with there. I recommend to anybody who wants to get involved at the school site, and then if you like it, keep going. It'd be kind of hard to just jump in at the school district level if you didn't have the foundation of what happens at a school. But because we've had bond measures, that's when, we pass a levy, I guess it is, that to help fund the modernization and building of new schools, we have an oversight committee. We've always had an oversight committee. Now they're legally required because of, I forget which, Prop 39, I guess it was, right? And so that group really dives in deep into the facility needs as well as overseeing the actual bond projects. So there's a joint thing. It's oversight and it's advisory. We have a parcel tax in our community that also provides supplemental funding. We have a parcel tax oversight committee. That's not a legal requirement, but we've built it into every parcel tax that we do. And so sometimes you get people on those committees who are fully supported, engaged, they know what's going on, and sometimes people apply to be on those committees because they're sure we're doing something wrong and they're going to catch us. Well, they usually get involved and they realize very quickly that we're a really well-run school district. And I'd have to say Dublin and Pleasanton are too. I mean, we're really lucky in this area that the schools are really strong. But that's a way to engage, and you get to know people at the district level. And if you want to be a school board member, all of those things I described are the training ground. By the time you do all those things, you're really prepared to be a school board member. And some people run for school board without all that preparation, but I highly recommend that you onboard yourself as you go. Plus, as you work on all these different things, you make friends and acquaintances and peers all the way up. And if you're a good public servant type potential person, people know that from working alongside you. You've built your credibility, right? And you've built your fan base, and there you go, you run for office. Is that about what you wanted covered, Andy? Do you want more? Or?
Yeah, whatever. I know there's some other appointment position like a facility.
Well, facilities advisory, I talked about parcel tax, I should talk about the LCAP really quickly. So a few years ago, they changed the whole way they divide up the education funding. They went from the old model to what's called local control funding formula, where you'll probably hear LCFF all the time. And attached to the funding through LCFF is the requirement for every school district to have a local control accountability plan. And the idea was to bring decision-making local. That wasn't a really novel idea in the San Ramon Valley, but because every district in the state has to do this, the process got formalized. And Jen's shaking her head because she's on our LCAP committee, and I am too. And so it's just really creating an opportunity for more parent and teacher voice, and classified employees too, in how money is being spent, how we're delivering the program. And along with all of the changes that came with the adoption of the Common Core standards, which became the California state standards, there was a lot to explain to parents about what was different. So our district did a lot of outreach with these evenings to make sure that parents knew what was going on. And all I can say is if you care about what your kid is learning in the classroom, go to all those kind of evenings, because the district is putting them on to share. They want to be as transparent as possible about what's going on. And they want your input. I came at it from a child who was struggling. You might come at it from a child that is a superstar in math, and you want to know why there aren't more opportunities. We want to hear from you because we really want to be able to deliver the right education for every child. Sometimes in a public school system, it's tough because you're creating systems, but we really do want to be responsive to the needs of every family, and that's what we're always striving for.
Thank you, Rachel. And actually, I'm the Parcel Tax Oversight Committee, and I joined that committee 2 years ago. I learned a lot. You learned the school, how the money is allocated, how it's spent, and also you work with the school board members and you report to them. So it's a great opportunity to learn and to get involved. And next, I'd like to introduce Amy to talk about more the Dublin's school district infrastructure and the appointment position there. And Amy was first appointed as a school board in Dublin back in 2010, and then later got elected as a school board. And also he is a delegate assembly member for the California School Board Association, and also the delegate to the California Democratic Party. I remember you got the highest vote, right, in that election?
Not this time.
No, not this time. Oh, okay.
I'm pretty high up there, but I wasn't the top.
Oh, that's the other. What's that lady's name? Is
Amy Chen.
Amy Chen, right?
She did.
Right. And also, she's a commissioner for Alameda County on the status of women. That's a appointed position, and also the event program manager in Dublin. And also, of course, is a trustee. So let's welcome Amy to talk about the Dublin School District infrastructure and the appointment.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of it's the same. I'll just start really quick by saying I never had any interest in politics, and I ended up getting appointed to the school board when someone asked if I would apply. And I remember at the time, I didn't even know what the school board did. And I had kids in the schools. I had never been to a school board meeting. However, we don't have what's called PTA in Dublin. We have PFC, which is called Parent Faculty Club. So it's very similar to PTA. I like the PTA structure better because you get a lot of advocacy opportunities and it's a little bit more structured, but we have PFC, which is similar to PTA. So I was very involved in that with my children's schools, and we have what's called a site council, and I think you heard Rachel mention that, and what that is more of, you talk about how money is spent on different academic programs. So I was a part of all of that. And then I ended up volunteering for our education foundation. I ran the art program there for many years and ended up getting on staff there as their events manager for a few years. And that's when someone said, hey, would you consider running for school board? And I was like, I don't even know what that is. And I ended up calling a bunch of school board members from my city and other cities, talking to them about it. I ended up calling a superintendent I didn't even know from another school district just to get a sort of objective perspective. And his very first comments to me, I remember where I was. He called me, I pulled my car over so I could talk to him, and he said, are you insane? And now I know what he means, but or now I know what he meant. But anyway, I did a lot of research and I realized for me that was a really great next step. I had been very involved in the community with our education foundation. So I had, in our community, if you didn't know, Dublin is the second fastest growing city in the state. So I had really made a lot of connections on both sides of our community, and I felt like I would maybe be that good person to sort of be a bridge, and and I didn't even realize this was a political thing to do, but I do know that now, and I'm very involved in it, and I'm grateful for it. It allows you to really form relationships with your legislators and really understand how you can make a difference, even beyond your own community, and that's what I really value about being a trustee, because it's really a gift for me. I like to be able to contribute, and it provides a lot of opportunity to do that. In terms of our school district and what Rachel is talking about, when she talks about the LCAP, which is the Local Control Accountability Plan, that is probably the most significant thing in every district. Basically, if you want to know something about any school district, if you're going to move or you're going to put your kids in another school, you ask to see their LCAP. Because basically, the LCAP talks about all of their priorities and how they meet those priorities and how they serve all of the students in their community. And I actually brought, it talks about our budget, talks about how many schools we have. This is an infographic. This will basically give you a snapshot of the entire Dublin school district. So I'll leave them here up on this table, and people can take them just to kind of see what we're talking about. But in terms of getting involved, if you're thinking about running for school board or you're thinking about how to get more involved, the LCAP committee is probably one of the best committees you could join, and I want to say especially you. We lack representatives from your community on our LCAP committee. I actually every year in December, our school board does what's called a reorg, where we choose a new president and a new vice president among ourselves, and then we join. There's probably a list of 25 committees that school board trustees sit on. One of them is the LCAP committee, and I just joined it this year. And I noticed when I looked around the room, there's one Asian person in the entire group of 30 people. And I know in Dublin, we have a large Asian population. And there was a good representation of Indian contributors there, which I was happy to see, because it's if you don't know how to connect, then you don't. And if you don't speak the language, then it's hard to come in. And I'm a big believer that I don't care if you speak the language, we'll get a translator, And so if that's something that holds you back, you should go to your trustees. I want to be involved, but I don't speak the language very well, and we will do something about that, because the LCAP is where you get to have input on everything we're doing in the school district. It is by far the most important committee. It's sort of like planning commission for a city. And then we have other committees. We have a Citizens Bond Oversight Committee also, which is very important. Make sure we're spending our bond money properly, and that's something you apply for. A lot of people don't even know where to look or how to get on these committees or who to talk to, and so the one thing I will say is, if you have trouble finding that information, if you go to the school's website and it's not obvious, email your trustees. Just email your trustees. Anytime you have any question about the school district, if you cannot find an answer on our website, email a trustee. I know in Dublin, we will email you back and we will point you in the right direction. But hopefully it's on our websites. And then we also have a parcel tax oversight committee. We kind of do committees for everything. So we have a homework and grading committee, which has met many, many years, because as you know, that is a huge issue in the schools, and people have different perspectives on it. And these committees, all of these committees I'm talking about, they have teachers on them, they have administrative people on them, they have trustees on them, and then they have parents, which is really a key group to have, because, right, we're serving your kids and you know what your kids need. We also have, I wrote down because I want to make sure I didn't forget some of our committees, but we also have, because we're growing so quickly, we have a district optimization committee, which talks about growth and how we're going to manage our growth. Sometimes we'll have an ad hoc committee that comes out of that. We had a facilities master planning committee that met for 6 months or a year, and then it kind of goes away. So we do have, there's a lot of ways to get involved, and they're not always easy to find, and that's why I would say, talk to your trustees. We have our education foundation, and like Rachel talked about, and I know Pleasanton has one also, great way to get involved. It's where you kind of learn the big picture of your community, and the education foundations are serving the schools. So that's where you get to learn a lot and meet a lot of people. We have a committee called Integrity in Action. So it's an actual nonprofit like our education foundation, and they serve our school district with a whole program on integrity. Great place to be a board member. We have a Tri-Valley Education Collaborative Committee. We have lots of regional programs, so those are things also. If you have special ed kids, we have a SELPA, a regional program that serves all the special ed kids in 6 different school districts in this area. You can be a parent on their parent commission there. There's so many different things you could do to get involved, but in terms of running, and I would say what Rachel said, I think it really helps to be involved, to meet people, because especially in a small community like Dublin, we all know each other, and so if someone new kind of comes out of the blue and nobody's ever met you and nobody knows who you are, people want people they know and they can trust, and it's building that trust shows your commitment to the role, because it's a lot of work. But some of the things I wanted to talk about also that I did, there's programs. I literally knew nothing about politics. I had absolutely no idea what running a campaign would be like. I got appointed, so I did not have to run. It was like a job interview. I filled out an application, I went in for a bunch of interviews, and I got selected. So I got kind of lucky. But then I had to run my first campaign, and there's a program called Emerge. And there's lots of different programs out there. That just happens to be the one I did. And I only did it because I was at a barbecue for our county supervisor, who I only knew because he lived in our community. And he said, "You got to meet this woman." And he walked me over to the president of Emerge. And we talked, and I applied for this program. It was a political candidates training program for Democratic women. And I'm telling you, without that program, you know, and you don't have to do something like that to run a campaign, but having mentors or having a network or having people help you, it's not as easy as you think it might be. It's a hard thing to do, and you have to really be up for the task. You pretty much kind of give up. I missed, I don't know how many soccer games while I was running my campaign, and I missed hockey games, and you know, you miss time with your family. You know, when we run bond measure campaigns in our school district, being a trustee, that's a full-time job for you during the time you're running a bond campaign, because you know how dependent you are on that, and you'll do anything you can to get it to pass. We also, when you talk about infrastructure, I just want to talk a little bit about the district too. We have unions. So as a trustee, we have to interact with our classified staff union and our teachers union. And many people are not aware that so many things are negotiated. You know, people want to know, you know, why didn't you change the schedule this way? And why didn't you just put this day here? And why didn't, everything has to be negotiated. And so you kind of learn how to work within that infrastructure too. And we have, for school board trustees, we have one employee, one person reports to us, although they all think they do, because when I run into a teacher at Starbucks in the middle of the day, they're like, I swear I'm just at my prep, and I'm like, I'm not your boss, you know, but we have one employee, and that's the superintendent. So that's who reports to us, that's who we evaluate, and that's who we hire, and hopefully never, but that's who we fire. So that's our employee, and we set policy. Our main job is just to set policy for the district, but in order to set policy that reflects the needs of our students, we have to be involved. We have to be on these committees. We have to talk to parents. We have to work with our legislators. I have gone to Sacramento more times than I can count, and that's part of being a trustee. The Dublin School Board went to Sacramento probably 6 times last year to fight with the state allocation board to get higher developer fees because we're growing so fast. And what I want to say about that is because of my relationships with some of the legislators, because of all the stuff I do in the community, because I'm a trustee, it was easier. Catherine Baker, who I know you're all a fan of hers, she's been to many APAPA events, she really helped us out. You know, she came and she sat with us and she advocated for us and she got us in the door to the governor's office to deliver letters. We work really closely when Joan Buchanan, it doesn't matter who your legislators are, but it gives you that opportunity to make even a bigger difference, because what we accomplished at the state impacted school districts all over the state of California. I'm trying to think if I'm leaving anything off. I kind of wrote a bunch of stuff down. And I know he talked about it, or I can't remember if I did, but one of the things I got to do right when I got on the board, one of the committees I got to be on was ROP, which is the Regional Occupational Program, and I am a huge advocate of career technical education. When we were all going to school here in America, I don't know if you had this where you were, but it was called vocational ed, and it was typically for kids who maybe weren't going to go off to college, who wanted to, you know, become an esthetician or, you know, a car mechanic. It is no longer that. It is now called career technical education. It's going to be a term you're going to hear a lot because our governor really supports it. And we have what's called a regional occupational program, ROP. And I don't know, do you have it in the San Ramon Valley? Okay, so yeah, they're regional groups. And so I got to chair that, and I actually got to sit on the board with Jamie for our Tri-Valley one. And you get to have this bigger impact. So for people who are really interested in running for these kinds of positions, there's so many things you could learn before you do it. You can learn on the job too. I will tell you, the learning curve's huge no matter how amazing and smart you are. It's a different language, you know, and I would say if you have been a teacher, you'll definitely have an advantage. But if you have never worked in education, there's a huge learning curve. But that's okay, because if you're there for the right reasons, if you ran to be a school board trustee because you want to serve all students, and I will tell you the question I had to ask myself, because at the time that I ran, I had a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old. And they're now sophomore and senior. But I said to myself, can I make decisions that I know might not be the decision I want to make for my kids, for their schools? You have to be able to serve all kids, and you have to be able to connect with people that you don't know anything about. You don't understand their culture. You've never talked to anybody in that culture, because that's who you're serving. You're serving their kids. So you need to learn what their needs are. So I guess I'm just being very passionate about it, because there's a huge movement, obviously, now with what's happened in our country, and a lot of people are looking at running. People want to run for office, and I think that's amazing. But I think you need to look at the big picture, and if you're willing to do the work, and that means really connecting with your constituent group, whoever that might be. I think I've kind of shared everything. Yeah, and I'll just share one last thing, because I was there today. There's a group called Innovate Tri-Valley. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. It's a group in the Tri-Valley. It's all technology. It's bringing the whole tech world and the business world together with K-12 and higher education. It's a very powerful group, and they met today, and we had a breakfast, and they invited the state fiscal director for the governor to come and speak, and it was incredibly informative. And those are the things that we get to do, and we get to learn from the people who are doing the work at the state level, and bring it back and share it with our communities and our boards. All right, I think I'm done.
Thank you, Amy. I think both of you share a great experience and information with us. Our next speaker is Jamie E. Hinsky, and she has been a school board member for the Pleasanton Unified School District since 2008, and she is the first API got elected in the whole Tri-Valley. And she has served on many local and countywide and statewide committees over the past 18 years. Many services, just like Amy and Rachel said, just participate and serve. And her focus has mainly been around children and youth advocacy and student health. And her family first moved to Pleasanton back in 1969, long time ago, from Berkeley. And she was born in Oakland and has been in the Bay Area resident for the whole life. So Jamie has 2 children. There's already in the college, so we have an empty nest. Okay, let's welcome Jamie.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah, and I realized when I quickly wrote that bio for Andy today, 5 minutes before I was leaving my work, I really didn't say that much. So I do work full-time for Alameda County, as well as being a school board member and a million other things that I do. So I'll try to sort of address some of the stuff that Rachel and Amy didn't talk about. And first of all, they both have mentioned PTA or parent clubs. Does everybody know what a PTA is and why we have them and where they came from? Because I can give that like 30-second thing about PTA. So PTA stands for Parent Teacher Association. It's an organization that's California statewide. It's been around over, I think, 115 years, something like that. It's the oldest, largest advocacy group for kids. And like Rachel, I started at my school site as PTA president and was active in the council PTA, which is the whole city. Then I've also been in our county PTA, and then I also served for 8 years on the state level state PTA board. And the PTA was a really, really good way for me to be really active and learn about schools and what the issues were. We got a lot of good information about the finances of public school, how curriculum is developed, how parents should be involved. And actually there's real data that shows that your kids will achieve better in school when their parents are involved. There's data that shows that. So this is the #1 reason why you should be involved at your child's school. If that's not a possibility for you, then you can get involved in district committees maybe, because there may be less commitment. If you work, it might be easier to be on different committees. So in Pleasanton, one other thing I wanted to say is, who knows who David Packard is here? David Packard, Hewlett Packard? You guys, have you heard of Hewlett Packard? Yes. Okay, well, David Packard, the original guy from Hewlett Packard, was on the Palo Alto School Board for 20 years. A lot of people don't know that. He really felt like it was important to give back to the community and to be involved in what was happening at the school district in his community. And also there's many, many, many legislators, federally and statewide, that have started as a school board member. So it is a really good place to get going and trying to make a difference in our communities. One of the things that I also wanted to say is, to be a school board member, you only have to be 18 years old and you have to be a U.S. citizen. Those are the only 2 requirements. You actually don't even need to be a registered voter, I don't think. You just need to be a citizen in 18, so that's kind of crazy. Amy sort of covered this, but a school board only has one employee, and it is the superintendent. And a lot of times people really don't understand the structure. And the structure is you have the superintendent, and then you have the superintendent has all the people that work at the district office, and then there's the principals, and everybody else down to the teachers. And the superintendent is basically the CEO of the school district. And so the board is who directs that superintendent, right? We say, set your vision, set your goals, we evaluate them, we decide if they get a raise, if they get fired, if, whatever. We're the ones that decide that, just only the board. And most boards are 5 people. Some boards in the state are 7. And the other interesting thing about school board members is we're the largest body of elected officials in the entire state. There's over 5,000 school board members in California. So there's more of us than anybody. So being a school board member, I've actually also had a chance to be involved in our own association, the California School Boards Association. I've actually served on many committees at that level. And right now I'm on the legislative committee, and I'm on this committee where we're working on the education of school board members. They're redoing some things. And I've also been on the convention committee at the California School Boards Association. But before I got on the school board, I actually was able to serve on a couple of committees in the district. I served on the Budget Advisory Committee. I also served on some statewide committees for the California Department of Education. I was invited to do that. I've always had a passion for school health, and the reason why I got involved is because my son had a nut allergy, and I started looking at school board policy and realized there wasn't anything. I also noticed we didn't have any school nurses, and it just led from one thing to the next and started advocating, and I actually kind of became well known for knowing a lot about school health issues, and I was invited to a lot of committees on the state. And also I think I was invited too because, as Amy said, there aren't very many minorities that were invited on committees anywhere, in the state. So even at the state level of PTA, there aren't that many minorities. So it's really important for us to get out there, and I wanted to just share this other piece of data. In Pleasanton, our student population now is 46% Asian. And in Dublin, it's 60% Asian. And when you look at the involvement of the committees, it is not representative. I am the only minority and Asian in the entire Tri-Valley that is elected.
We have Indian.
Oh yeah, they do have an Indian council member in Dublin. That's true. So I'm, like with Andy kind of got me involved in this group, and we talked about, what we really want to have happen, and we really, really need APIs to be involved. We need your voices at the table, your perspective. I know it's really difficult because my parents weren't necessarily raised here. I'm first generation. My parents were not involved at school. They never came to school. They never challenged a teacher. They never talked to a principal. That wasn't part of the culture, right? You respect the teachers and the principals, and the way they were raised, those were the most respected people in your community. You never challenged them, right? And so they just didn't get involved. And I didn't like that as a kid. I wanted my parents to be involved. I wanted them to, why is it my mom the room mom? Why is it always that blonde kid's mom that's the room mom? I used to wonder about that. So when my kids were little, I thought, well, I'm going to change that. I'm going to get involved. So I did, and one thing led to the next, and now I'm a school board member, which, I love. It's been a really, really great 8 years. It's been hard. Like Amy said, it almost seems like a full-time job sometimes. But in our school district in Pleasanton, how many people here are from Pleasanton? A few. Okay, so I don't know if are you on any committees in our school district?
Not really.
Not really? Okay, well, I'm going to come after you. In Pleasanton, we also have a bond now, so we are actually taking applications for bond oversight committee. So there's an application that you fill out, you have to turn it in, and then the staff looks at it, and the board decide who gets to be on the committee. It's a very important committee because it is the oversight for all of the taxes that we collect from everybody to help do all the building projects in our district. In our district, we also have an audit committee, which was something that I fought really hard for, where we actually, there's 2 board members and community members that get to be part of a public audit committee. So you actually get to sit down, you only have to do it twice a year, so it's a good committee for somebody who's busy, to sit down with our auditors and actually go through the audit, and you really get a good understanding of the finances, how the money is being spent, where there might be some problems. And actually Pleasanton had a clean 100% audit this year, which was amazing. And we also a lot of times have special panels where we invite parents to be on. For example, if we're hiring a principal at the high school, right, we might have a few teachers, we might have some parents on that committee. So that's a great opportunity for a parent to actually be in the interview to decide and give feedback about who that next principal should be. Definitely need API parents to be part of those kinds of committees. Rachel and Amy also mentioned school site council. That's another really good way to really get to know your principal really well and get the inside scoop about what's going on, how they spend their money at the school site, what their goals are they meeting their goals? It's a really, really, really good way to understand what's going on, as well as the local control accountability plan, which they talked about, the LCAP. The other thing that is really, really helpful to get you to understand what's going on in your school district is watch the school board meetings. Seriously. All of them are televised. Oh, yours aren't televised? Oh, wow. Okay.
But people come to us.
Okay. Well, we have people come to our meetings too. They're usually pretty well attended. But in Pleasanton, our school board meetings are web streamed live during the meetings, and then they're also taped on the local channel 28, and they replay it. But then you can also watch it, on web stream live. And we're getting feedback from parents who travel a lot. They might be in a hotel somewhere in Dallas. They can actually watch the board meeting because, it's web streamed. So we have found that to be extremely helpful, and they can kind of stay engaged. There might only be 1 or 2 agenda items that they might be interested in, and they can take a look at it. And then also, it's archived on our website, so if there's an agenda item that you want to know about, you can just skip to it. You don't have to watch the whole meeting. You can just go to the item that you want to hear about. So we tried to make it really easy for people to stay informed. So Amy sort of mentioned this too, that a job of a school board member, is to hire and fire the superintendent, also to create policy. And that was one of the things that I got involved in before I was on the school board, is we didn't have a food allergy policy in our district. So I was really the one that pushed that. And it turned out that it was a really great policy, and lots of other school districts borrowed it from us. I think San Ramon borrowed it from us, and Dublin has too. And I'm a policy person. I like policy, so that was kind of fun for me. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Let's see. Oh, recently, I was last year, I was on the state superintendent's special task force for creating this blueprint for environmental literacy. And they wanted it linked to the new science standards, because there's this new generation science standards now, and they wanted it to be closely linked. And it was really fascinating. All the people that were on the committee, there were executive directors of like Lawrence Hall of Science, the Chabot Space Center, the museum in San Francisco the Cal Academy, and teachers and different nonprofits from people who care about environmental literacy for our kids, because they are the ones, this next group, that are really going to be buying all the things that are now more sustainable. And we just really need to make sure that the classroom learning helps to support students supporting our environment. It was really, really fascinating. It was a year-long committee that I had to be on. It was a lot of fun, hard work. And so you get a lot of other opportunities when you're a school board member, that you get to do things that are interesting. In the city of Pleasanton, I also sit on the Economic Vitality Committee. We always have somebody from school board there, so I get to hear all of the reports from the city about, how our taxes are going, what businesses are coming in, who they're approaching. We help with some of the strategy, we help with some of the ideas about how we want to reach out to the business community and be business friendly, and I think they're all coming to San Ramon. It's one of the things we always talk about. I think we lost some big people to you guys. Yeah, Yeah, we lost Kaiser to you guys, to Dublin. Yeah, it's anyway. Yeah, anyway, it's very fascinating. Let's see if there's something else I wanted to say. Amy sort of mentioned this too about the reasons why you'd want to be a school board member. And, you know, I will caution you that a lot of times we have these parents that are really passionate about one particular topic. And they get really mad that it's not going their way. And then they say, I'm going to get on the school board because of this one topic. And I will just tell you from past experience meeting school board members that actually get elected because of that one topic, boy, are they in for a big surprise. They realize that there are 1,000,005 other issues than that one issue that they really cared about. And all of a sudden, they're in shock and they're like, oh, holy cow, you know, what am I doing here? There's so much more that I need to do. What did I sign up for? And then that one big issue really becomes a small issue for them because they realize it's way, way bigger than their one issue. So you really should, if you're thinking about school board, you really need to talk to other people, you know, other board members, find out what it's like, how much time they spend, and really the reasons why you want to be in a school board member. And for me, I really feel very passionate about public education. It's one of the ways that all of our citizens can change their life circumstances, right? Because everybody has the same access. It's the way that you can, you know, get into that, you know, into that profession or into that better college or, you know, get out of poverty. It is the #1 way to change your circumstance, and I feel very strongly about that. And Amy also touched a little bit on the Career Technical Education Program. Amy and I got to sit on the board together. And I will say in Pleasanton, we have a very, well, in Tri-Valley, we have a very robust career technical education program, and a lot of, I think, API parents don't realize this, that all of the classes that you take in the career technical education all count towards your 4-year degree. The programs get vetted at the university, college level, and they say, yes, we're going to accept this class, and you get college credit for it. You can't really start the programming until you're a junior, but in the Tri-Valley, we have programs like the one for medical professions. The nursing one is really, really popular. Engineering, the engineering one is huge. It really helps kids decide what type of engineering they want to do. And a lot of the kids get some of their basic engineering classes done as a high school student. It's really an amazing program, and it's kind of like a hidden secret because a lot of people don't know about it. They think they just need to take AP classes, and you don't. You probably are better off taking, in some, depending on what you're interested in taking the ROP classes because it's actually in your field of interest. We actually have kids in high school that do rounds at Valley Care. They're actually with patients. They're working in doctor's offices and oncologists' doctor's offices, cardiologists, with veterinarians in different labs. The program is truly, truly amazing. And then we also have, you know, a lot of partnerships at the Livermore Lawrence Lab and other big companies where we place kids on internships. So when you are looking at your class schedule for your high school kids, make sure you check out the ROP classes. Did I miss anything on ROP? Because that's like, it is kind of a hidden gem, right? Oh, yeah, that's right. Right, there's a whole visual and performing arts strand of the career technical education too, because you know that's a big thing. To learn how to, you know, operate a studio, you know, do the videotaping, doing the editing, how do you interview somebody, how do you set up the microphone, you know, all that production stuff, and also the video gaming programming, and I don't know, is there one about creating apps and programming? No, not in CT. I think that's in regular school. But I did want to just ask, are we going to do questions?
Yes, we'll have questions.
Should I just start with the questions?
Yeah, you can start it.
Yes.
Maybe I can take it.
Okay. So yeah, I think I covered everything.
Okay, thank you. Maybe you can sit here. Thank you so much, Jamie. And next we have open for questions. So anyone has questions to those 3 board members here? It's up to you. You can stand up here. Okay.
I just have.
You can speak up.
I was wondering about the Board of Education. I know there is like open public month, right? In ceremonies. I just wondering, if I have some concerns with the program, what's the best way to get connected with the district? Even though I know the first step, you talk with principal, you talk with PTA, after all these approaches, what's my next step to be connected? That's a great question.
It's a really good question. If you've got an issue that you're having a problem with and you're not getting resolution and you're just, taking it up the chain, you can contact a board member. A board member is not going to solve it for you, but they will point you in the right direction of where you're going to get help. That is probably a more productive way than showing up at the board meeting, but that's always an option too. Because every agenda for any one of our organizations, it's the law, it's part of the Brown Act, that our agendas have to be posted 72 hours in advance. And then anything that's on that agenda, there's an opportunity for the public to talk about anything on the agenda. But there's also a time in every agenda for non-agendaized items. And you can come talk about anything there. Anything at all. Now, that tends to be the way that you're kind of putting staff on, under the gun, under the spotlight. Maybe they think they look bad in front of the board. So sometimes it's better to work it the other way. But in our district, when people bring up something from the podium there, and then usually they're important things. And usually there's another side, but the superintendent, because we can't engage in conversation about things that aren't on the agenda, but the board president will always, tell them you've been heard, and then someone from staff will get with you, and usually the superintendent has whichever assistant superintendent's area it is jump up and go talk to the person out in the lobby.
Yeah, so for board member, if we go to the website, are we able to locate the contact? Because there's so many names.
On our website, you go to district, and one of the drop downs on district is Board of Education. All 5 of us, our pictures there, our name, our home phone numbers, our email address, everything. And that's very normal. And I think most people do not abuse that. And if people call us, we get back to you. Now, in our district, our policy is when people send an email to all 5 of us, our practice is that the board president responds on behalf of all of us and copies us all. But that's just so that you don't have 5 people responding and potentially contradicting each other. Yeah.
And I'm just going to add one thing, and I know you're speaking San Ramon specifically, and it is really awkward when you come to a school board meeting and you have an issue, and then we just stare at you, because legally we can't engage in a dialogue. But like Rachel said, even in our district, usually somebody will get up and go get the information, and usually later on in the meeting when we have an open session, we'll say, hey, that parent that talked, I hope someone's going to follow up. But following the channels is the best thing, because if you come to a board member and you haven't talked to the teacher yet, or you haven't talked to the principal yet, or you haven't gone to the principal's boss yet, that's what we're going to direct you to do. But there's also, and I don't know if San Ramon has this, or Pleasanton probably, but we have formal complaint processes also that you can find on our website. So that also may be where you get directed if you're not.
We highly encourage you to use the informal process first.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not getting anywhere with the informal process, well, I just want to say one thing about if you come to the podium. So we had a parent come to the podium one time and just said, I'm really upset because our kids' math teachers never let them keep the test after they, hand it back. They collect them all. And we don't think that's right because they need to study from the test. And, all the staff was like, oh, wow, so it kind of made all the teachers look bad and the principal look bad, so that probably wasn't the best way to handle that. But, at the same time, they're allowed to do that, and it was, good that it kind of brought awareness to it. But then there's kind of maybe a ramification of that, because you sort of made everybody kind of look bad. But you can also, like these guys said, you can email board members. And then what was the thing I was going to say about...
the speaker slip.
No, I was going to say...
Because most of them have a process. If you're going to come talk, you fill out a card, and then the card gets passed to the president so he knows to call on.
Right. And there's two color cards. So when you first come to the meeting, if you want to speak about something that's not on the agenda, it's at the beginning of the meeting, and ours is blue.
Oh, you have 2 cards?
Yeah, we have 2 color cards. One is one color. And then if you want to speak to a particular agenda item, it's a different color card. And that way the president knows, and then there's a record of you, of what your name is, because we're supposed to collect, I guess there's a law about that, collect the name of who the person is. But I think, though, that if you want to address a board member on a particular issue, a lot of times it's a really good idea, if you are going to come speak to them at a meeting, at any public meeting, even at city council, reach out to the board members first and give them a heads up that you're going to come, this is what your issue is, and this is what you're going to say. Because a lot of times what can happen is the board members can then sort of ask a general question to the staff, and then they will address it, right? Because the board is saying, please address this. So there's kind of workarounds, that just helps kind of have better communication. And then there was, just lost it. Yeah.
And I don't want you to feel like when you raise an issue with a board member that you're causing trouble, because we represent you. Our job is to be the oversight for the community on the governmental entity, right? And there have been times where people, and then I think when you can develop a rapport with a member or two, sometimes it's more effective than emailing all 5. But there were times where we had, I'm thinking back to a situation, if you don't mind me bird walking a little bit, where we had some schools that were impacted and we were having to do lotteries for kindergartners. And we had a policy that if you already had children at the school, your kids got into that kindergarten year because we wanted to keep families together. We had this instance with a family where one child had gone all the way through, was a 5th grader, and was exiting, and now they had a kindergartner coming in. So they were fully established. This was a mom who had done all those things I talked about, right? She earned her cred in that community. But she was being lumped into the brand newbies and being thrown into the lottery. And she was making a very good point about, I get that I shouldn't have the same priority as the kids that are already here, but can there be something? And so while she was first turned away by staff, nope, sorry, this is our policy, I was able, because I totally got where she was coming from, to say, what about? And we created an intermediate thing. A pretty simple thing, but oh my gosh, I have a fan in the Coyote Creek community because I totally changed her life, and it was so easy to do. And as we took it forward, it was like, wow, this is really honoring the parents who have really contributed. So it was an easy win-win, but it took going through the board member to get the how about kind of conversation. Does that make sense? Yeah.
And I'll just say, like, I think as a board member, and I'm sure I can speak for all of us, I like to hear from parents, even if you're mad or whatever. It gives me insight because I can't be everywhere all the time. But I always start by telling the person who has something to say, I don't know that I'm going to be able to fix this for you because that's not my job, but I'm happy to listen. But what it does is sometimes I'll get a running theme. We had this one year that I was on the board, and I swear it was like a special ed parent from all these different schools complaining about the same thing. But when I get a theme like that, I do go to my superintendent, and I say, hey, we need to talk about this. I think there's this bigger issue. So it's nice to have a relationship, with people in the community. That's why we visit schools. That's why we go to your events when we don't have kids at your school. That's why we're there, because we want you to see us and feel like you can approach us and talk to us.
Yeah, I just want to verify. It's not something I want to complain, but I think it's something I can bring up
idea.
Perspective, ideas to see, how about that? What do you think about this way?
Yeah, so, email. And I know a lot of people are on social media, at least in Dublin. And I will say, and I don't know what.
That would be a good comment if you just want to make a suggestion.
Yeah, that's a great public comment. That's a great time to come and fill out a speaker slip and say it at a board meeting, or to email trustees. But I know in Dublin there's like a bunch of different Facebook pages that people are on, and as a group we kind of agree not to engage on Facebook. Once in a great while we've all kind of broken down because you just see so many things that's all misinformation, and you just feel compelled to like provide the facts, but it never turns out good, So if you are trying to engage your board members on Facebook and they're not very responsive, don't be offended. It's best to call them or email them.
I remember those. I just wanted to say too, because I didn't know if your complaint was formal complaint or not, but a formal complaint, so you know, there is a process that every school district has to go through. And usually when you file a formal complaint, they have to investigate it, they have to interview everybody, and you have to be known that you're complaining. And so whoever you're complaining about is going to know. But I always tell parents, I go, oh, I don't want to complain because my kid might, there might be backlash against my kid. But here's the problem with not complaining is if it's a new teacher, and same thing, if there's a theme, right, and everyone's having the same issue, they need to know about it so they don't rehire that same teacher again next year, right? Or maybe they need training, or maybe, there's something else going on. So it is important to speak up and let your principals know when you have a certain concern, about something at your school site. They're the ones that you should always go to first, the teacher, then the principal. But but just a lot of people don't know that there is a formal process, and they will know who you are, but you shouldn't, if it's bad enough, you shouldn't let that deter you. You should still do it. Yeah. Okay, there's another question right there. Yeah.
I have a question, and this is, earlier we said that we have so many APIs in the community. And I think we all should be leaders to show to our kids that APIs are not only computer scientists.
Yep.
And we can be leaders.
They're artists.
So here's my next question to San Ramon Valley. All right. So, Doherty Valley has 70% Asians. And yet, there are no API leaders. Is there any special reason we
In Doherty Valley?
Correct.
The principal at Quail Run.
No, Doherty Valley High School, 70%.
Oh, I thought you mean there's...
I mean Doherty Valley High School. Yeah.
Well, we have in our LCAP a goal about having our teaching staff, our other school staff, and our leadership better represent the community. The first time we put that goal out there, it got a lot of backlash because people thought it meant, oh, you're going to have quotas now and you're not going to pick the best qualified person, you're going to go with the quota. So we had to, no, that's not what we meant. What we meant is we're trying to be more inclusive in our recruiting, which we have done. And so it's about increasing the pool, and then you still go for the best candidate. So I don't have statistics for you, but I know progress has been made there. And we do have... We have a couple of principals in the district that are API, principal at Alamo and principal at Quail Run. And I know there are others, and others that have moved, in and out. There was Hannah Ma, who's now at the district office. So there's several, and there's some African American. They haven't always stayed, but.
I do want to say that we don't want the high school kids to feel that unless you go into computer science, you're not going to be leaders. There's no future. So we do need to set up examples for them that no matter which field we go, there are opportunities for them because they are seeing us as what we can do, where we are.
Absolutely. And we do have a lot of Asian parents that are very active in PTA. Lots of Asian PTA presidents. And I mean, it takes time. And like we've been talking about, especially what Jamie said is really inspiring. You have to go beyond your comfort level and try for those positions. Because I've never seen anybody turned away. We have the last few PTA presidents at Doherty Valley High School have been Indian backgrounds, and so we're certainly not excluding them, but they got to raise their hand too.
I just wanted to add that in Pleasanton, the board, probably because I'm on the board, we've been very, very intentional about making sure that whatever big committees we have, that we have a good mix of different ethnicity and women and men and somebody who doesn't have kids in school, they're just from the community. So we're really intentional about making sure that we have a good mix of people. That's been really, it's actually been really, really great. And then also in Pleasanton, we have family liaisons that we've hired. We have Spanish-speaking family liaisons, and we have Mandarin-speaking family liaison, and there's one other language, I can't think of it for some reason, but no, there's 3 languages. But anyway, we do have a Mandarin-speaking family liaison in Pleasanton, and she's really awesome, and she helps everybody fill out forms, understand things. Sometimes she goes to translate. If your student has a 504, an IEP meeting, She can be there. It's really super helpful, and they are busy, really busy, and so they help everyone navigate this system.
Oh, I just want to add on to that, and I'm thinking about how I've been trying for years to find a way to bring more people in, and I just feel like that's where API parents could be really helpful, right? Calling the district or sending a trustee an email saying, hey, I'm noticing there's not a lot of representation, or we have a lot of people who speak this language who don't come to the meetings because they feel like there's no translation or they can't, be heard. I mean, if parents came and started knocking the doors down saying that, it would happen a lot faster than me trying for the last few years saying, where's our translators? Why don't we have more people that, that we haven't seen before? So it's a good way to get involved.
Yeah, and we're really intentional about all the different languages in Pleasanton. So we had a speaker that turned out 400 people on Saturday. This woman who is the dean of freshman students from Stanford, and so she's worked with I don't know how many thousand freshmen at Stanford. No, she's not. She's a Stanford. Julie, she wrote this book called How to Raise an Adult, and it was a really good. You should get the book, and you should hear her if you can. But her basic message is really allowing your child to have their passion and do what they want to do so they're happy adults. Not put your agenda on them. So we love this so much. So our district is actually we videotaped her, and they're actually going to translate in Spanish and in Mandarin her whole talk.
She let you videotape?
Yeah.
Oh, we asked.
Yeah.
We were able to.
Yeah. So.
We paid her a lot of money.
Well,
to do our
she
parenting
drew. She was $16,000, but she
charged you more. That's why.
she drew a lot of parallels to Pleasanton and Palo Alto Unified, right? Because she lives in Palo Alto, and there's been all those suicides and just all the pressure that the kids have in Palo Alto. Pleasanton has a lot of similarities to Palo Alto, so that's why she was so excited to come and talk in Pleasanton. But it's really our whole Tri-Valley. We're all kind of, our whole Tri-Valley society here, we are pushing our kids way too hard. They're stressed out, they don't get enough sleep, they're not happy. It was so funny, she said, bird walking, Andy, sorry. She said, this freshman girl was sitting in my office, and she had invented something, she had a patent, she started a nonprofit, right? She was 20 years old. But when I asked her, what did she love to do? She started crying. She couldn't answer. Because her parents had pushed her and pushed her and pushed her. You are going to be a doctor, or you are going to be this, bioscience, whatever. And she was not passionate about that. She actually wanted to work with animals. And her parents did not support that. And she was tortured. And there's a very high suicide rate in college as well. So, and so these are some of the...
lost our fourth student.
Yeah, and this is some of the issues that the school board now, all school boards, especially in high-achieving school districts, are all really trying to deal with right now, because it is an epidemic. The Department of the Center for Disease and Control, CDC, which they're a nationwide, very well-known organization, actually spent 2 weeks in Palo Alto with a team studying what was happening in Palo Alto because they've had so many suicides. And the other thing is, most all the kids that killed themselves on the train tracks were Asian. So straight A students, athletes, amazing kids, no idea. So they're calling it an epidemic now, and so we have to do something. We cannot put this pressure on our kids anymore. They have to be happy kids.
So, probably like those, right, no, seriously, we have a wellness committee in Dublin, and this is the topic we discuss, but I often talk with our middle school counselors. One of our middle school counselors is constantly fending off suicides. He is working with kids who are suicidal at the middle school level because they have so much pressure. And the last thing I'll say, if I could say anything, is just talk to your kids, because I don't know if you've heard of Challenge Day, but it's a program that's happening. We've done it in Dublin a few times now. We're doing 2 of them at the high school. We're doing 1 at our alternative high school. And it's basically a day that kind of breaks down barriers and connects people, so you sort of build community in your schools. And the last time we did it with all the leadership kids. I will tell you probably 95% of the room was Asian and Indian. Okay, and so you have like your small groups, and my small group was all ethnic kids. And one of the little girls was so agitated after this one exercise, and what's wrong? I want to go talk to my best friend. Her best friend since kindergarten, and we're in high school. And I said, well, what's going on? She goes, well, I had no idea. She feels the same stress and pressure as me. So they've never felt okay even talking about it. They keep it all inside because that's however they're taught or whatever, works for them. And it was like so eye-opening for me because they don't want to disappoint their parents or their teachers or even their friends. They feel that their friends have these expectations too. And it was just very eye-opening for them to learn like, oh, okay, other people feel this pressure too. And it kind of opened up doors for them to be able to talk. So if I could say anything, and if you care about this as much as I know we care about it, there are committees at every school district you can get involved in. If it weren't for the parents in our school district on our wellness committee, we wouldn't be doing some of the amazing programs. We do a lot of the same kind of stuff that they do. So with parent universities and all of that.
And along that same line, I mean, that Doherty Valley High School where Jen teaches, they talk about that it's a pressure cooker. I mean, it's one of the highest performing high schools in the whole state, and the kids, the social credibility isn't fashion, it isn't what phone you have. At Doherty Valley High School, it's your grade point average. And, it's what kids get put down about. I mean, it's a big deal. So our administration has been on it for a long time, but through all of these things we've talked about, it's a growing concern everywhere, but especially in upwardly mobile, areas where we're academics. And so, especially with this audience, you need to look at your whole child. And there's an organization called Challenge Success, which is kind of one of the leads on this. They do all this research, and they're based in Palo Alto, and all of us are drawing speakers from there. We're working with our high schools. That's where this push to changing the school calendar so that finals are over before the holiday break comes out of that. That's a pretty easy fix. It's not like you do that and then, oh, okay, all the stress is gone. But this is our first year in that new calendar, and we've been really interested to hear what the kids thought, because the parents had some parents had a lot to say about it. It was, rocking their world that they couldn't have vacation go all the way to Labor Day, that whole thing, even though it was already before Labor Day. But the kids unanimously talked about how much better it was. And then they also said, but we've got to rearrange the lesson plans because the time between Thanksgiving and finals was hell. And so we'll go back and work on that, but that takes feedback. And so I think kids are finally getting their voice, and they're learning that it's okay to talk about these things, but you can't fix it overnight. It's culture, it's the competition of getting into college. But for, a lot of you raised your hands that you weren't raised in this country. You may be coming from a paradigm where you had to have the best grades to get into the best college. Well, it's a little different here because there are a lot of colleges, and there's a college for everybody, and that's kind of a mind shift change that we all have to get used to. There isn't enough room at Harvard and Stanford for all of our kids, but there's a lot of really great colleges that might be a better place for them anyway.
Well said, Rachel Bird.
And then we can have a time to take a photo, and then we have time to social kind of. You can ask me more.
Thank you for this sharing. I'm glad I'm here. Hopefully I will bring some really very positive message back to our community. One question I want to ask, maybe start from Amy, but this is generic question. So you guys mentioned that there are a lot of committees that is available for us. So starting from Dublin, do we have any position that is available so I can ask people to volunteer?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to say, one, we have a brand new superintendent, so I don't know if you're aware of that. We also didn't have a full staff. Her cabinet was not full. She was actually only had one person in the district office, and he had only been there for a year. So I'm telling you all that to kind of gear up to, I know there are committees that are forming, and we are still looking for people. I don't know offhand what they are. If anybody's interested, email me, and I will get that response to you. but I can't tell you off the top of my head because things have been just kind of crazy lately. They're finally calming down. We just hired our assistant soup for ed services, so we filled that position, and now we need to fill, we haven't had a chief business officer since October, so that's our next one. Yeah, so we've been kind of in a rough patch, and our new superintendent's been having to do everybody's jobs in a district she knew nothing about. So, and she's amazing, but if you email me, I'll get you the answer, because I honestly am not sure.
So we all talked about lots of committees, and I'm guessing this works the same way, but all of our committees have usually a 2-year commitment, and then you can go again. And we advertise those through all of our school newsletters. In fact, I am in charge of pushing those out to the school newsletters with my PTA job, and we are about to be taking applications for our parcel tax oversight committee. So it's not like once you're on and then, oh, I missed that opportunity, because they refresh, and most of them have a limit of how long you can be on it, so it kind of forces an opportunity for new people to throw their name in. Okay.
I'm going to steal the processes of these districts too, because I will be honest, I don't know that we've had a really great process in the past, but we will after hearing all this.
Yeah, we announce it. It's on our website. It's on our Blackboard system. It goes out in all the school newsletters, and our appointments are usually announced in, you can click on the thing and it will drop it down in Spanish and in Chinese. So we try to make it really accessible to everybody. So yeah, you guys got to get on board with that.
We will. We will.
So thank you, Rachel, Amy, and Jamie, so much for sharing the information and your experience with us. So let's give them a round of applause. And what about all of you come to the front? Let's take a group photo, and after that it's more social time. Feel free to get mingle with them, know them, let them know you, and exchange some information.
回家，早点走吧，我忘了谁老钱给安迪。安迪说一
再说一遍。
Come to the front. Hey, Jenny, come to the front. Okay, so that's Harry, Peggy. Okay, ladies in the front. Ladies in the front.
And I like
come to this side a little bit more. Maybe need to go back a little bit. Can you see Peggy? Peggy, come to this side. Okay. Come to this side. Harry, over here. Perfect. Okay. Okay.
So I'm going to send you the link, and then
Very good.
Then they say, you go to Toastmasters, all 他认为是知识免费的。对。其实那时候我很奇怪，这个人怎么会这么亲密呢？你到说哦，这个人因为劳是劳的，他有什么一些什么限制？这样的话，我们是正常的，对不对？
Teacher dedication is really
It's not hard. People are not saying it is not
I'm not a money numbers person. I only have to see online.